Solve polynomial inequalities graphically. We already discussed this method in a couple of videos, and this question is for you to solve. So you can pause the video, write down your solution, and then look into my solution. Fine. So here is my solution. First step, find zeros. Let's find zeros. That is our first step, correct? So where are the zeros? I've seen students forgetting about this x, and that is why this is kind of typical. So first x square equals to 0 will give us 0 at x equals to 0. That's the first factor. And I'll rather include minus 2 with this, right? So minus 2x square equals to 0 gives me x equals to 0. The next factor is x plus 7 equate to 0, x equals to minus 7. Then we have x plus 2 equals to 0, gives us x as equals to minus 2. And the last one is x minus 3 equals to 0, and that gives us 0 at x equals to 3, right? It's a good idea here to write these factors with their degrees. So we have degree 2 there, and degree 3 there, and degree 2 there, right? So this helps us, how. I will show you how. If it is degree 2, then when you're plotting the graph, your graph will turn from this point. If it is degree 3, it will go kind of like this. Do you see that? This is a linear 0, it should go straight. And this is quadratic 0, double 0, so it will go like this. So this really helps you to organize, right? And then it gives you an idea that there are so many turning points at zeros, right? And this is the way your function is going to turn, right? So now let me plot, right, without wasting much time. So here is simple example with a simple solution. First 0 we are looking at is 0. So it says greater than 0. So that means it's a whole, right? So whole at 0. Right. And we know right here it will turn. Now x minus 7. So farthest away is minus 7. So let me put here minus 7. This is minus 7. Minus 2. So minus 2 will be kind of like this. So it's all approximate, correct? And here we have 3. Now we are looking at the degree of the function and then deciding the end behavior. Degree is 2 plus 3, 5 plus 1, 6 plus 2, 8. Octic, right? So it's an octic polynomial, right? Octic means even degree, both sides on the same side, right? Both ends on the same side. Leading coefficient is minus. Do you see that minus? That means octic with an as negative. Is that okay? Leading coefficient negative, that means both sides are downwards. Do you see that? So that is how it is. Now let's get back to sketching. Minus 7 is a cubic function, so here you will cross the graph like this. Minus 2 is here. Linear functions will cross with a straight line, and 0 is there, which you should turn like a parabola. And then cube, this is also of order to turn like a parabola. Now the simple part is to connect them and sketch your graph. So you should go like this here, and you could go like this there. Connect it and connect this one, and that's it. So you have your polynomial right there. What are you looking for? This polynomial should be greater than 0. That means that is all. One solution. And none, right? So it's only greater than 0 in one interval, and therefore what you should do is write down your answer. So our answer here is very simple. That is the interval minus 7 to minus 2 is a part of solution. Otherwise the function seems to be negative. Are you sure about it? Test. So we'll test with the help of few points, right? So check. So in these intervals, let's check it out. So what we should do is, we say 0 is not part of solution. Let me check that out, right? If I put 0 here, test with x equals to, let us say 0. Now if I'm putting 0 here, then everything becomes 0, right? So 0 is not greater than 0. So this test is pass. Let me test it with another point. So let's test between 0 and 3. Let's say x equals to 1. If I put x as 1, what do I get? So 1 square is positive, 1 is positive, 1 is positive, and 1 square is positive, but 1 multiplied by minus 2, it gives you negative answer, right? Negative is never greater than 0, so it is not part of our solution, right? So we test this part we test this 1 was here, right? Now let's test for minus 1. Okay, x equals to, let me use different things so that I can show you where we are. X equals to minus 1. So if I put minus 1 here, then this is a square, this will be negative and it will become positive. Square is positive, right? Minus 1 plus 2 will be positive. Minus 1, this is positive. Minus 1 square is positive. But that minus 2 when multiplied gives me negative. So negative means it is not a part of solution, right? So we tested this also. It is also lying here. None of them is a part of solution. If you want, you can test a number on this side. Let it be 10 with a minus sign. So you can say x equals to minus 10. In that case, you know this is positive. Minus 10 will give me, okay, I'll use a different thing this time. So we are checking for x equals to minus 10. So when I plug in minus 10 here, this will be positive. Minus 10 plus 2 will give me a negative number, negative 8. Minus 10 will give me negative. Cube is negative. Minus 10, this part is positive, but this is negative. So how many negatives I get? I get 1, 2, 3 negatives, so that gives me negative. And you know, negative is not greater than 0. So it is not a part of our solution. Perfect. So the only part of our solution is between 7 and 2, which you may like to test for. So between 7 and 2, let us take a value of minus 5. If I take minus 5 as my factor, what do I get? Let me write down here. We get minus 2 times minus 5 square will be positive. And this minus 5 will give me what? Negative 5 plus 4 is positive, so it will give me positive answer. Minus 5, this will give me negative answer. And minus 5 minus 3 will give me positive answer, right? When I multiply these two negatives, what do I get? I get positive, and positive is greater than 0, so that is the part of solution. So minus 5 worked, and therefore it is a perfect solution. Okay, I discussed with you checking solution in details. It is kind of important. Getting to the answer was a 2-minute job, but you could have done a mistake, right? So in your test, I would recommend at least test 1 point, right? If not 2. Thank you and all the best.